What's up, everyone? It's your host, Ghost, coming to you live with another wonderful video. How is everyone doing today? I am doing well myself. A little late today. Seems like a normal thing. I'm tired. Got 3 hours of sleep, so I'm gonna get my show done. I'm gonna do my show and then call it a day and go take a nap before I go to work. So I got a few things we're going to talk about today. The U.S. carried out multiple airstrikes against Iran, proxies in Syria, and then after the whole main thing, calls to renew the assault weapons ban is going on. With even Kamala Harris stating that we need to confiscate legal guns from law-abiding citizens. Meanwhile, in Georgia, Lieutenant Governor says he wants to pay teachers $10,000 a year to carry guns in schools. New footage comes out showing that Jamal Bowman lied about his quote-unquote reason for pulling the fire alarm by accident, quote-unquote. Asian Americans in Chicago are furious about illegal immigrants coming to their neighborhoods. And finally, even the ACLU is backing Trump in his fight against the DC's judge's gag order. So, yeah, those are the topics of the day. Sorry, just adjusting shit right now. Before I get started, make sure you follow me at official W Ghost on X. Best way to find out when I'm going live, what days, what times, etc. If you're watching this on YouTube, follow me on rumble.com/withghost. It's in the description. Along with my gaming channel, rumble.com/gamingwithghost. And that goes for everyone who's watching this. Follow me on both my Rumble channels. Be much appreciated. Make sure you check out Coffee Brand Coffee as well. Get into my spiel later on in the show if I remember. So let's get to it. So here we go. So this is Fox News. Breaking: the U.S. has carried out multiple airstrikes against Iranian proxies in Syria. And then, lives a TikTok account owner, Shaya Rachix, tweets. Remember when they said Trump would start World War III? Yeah, remember that?
Well, Jennifer, this sounds like huge news.
Sean, we can report based on senior military sources that U.S. warplanes have carried out airstrikes tonight inside Syria against Iranian proxy forces. We don't know the number of strikes. We were told earlier today to expect that perhaps F-15s and F-16s would be involved in the airstrikes, but we don't have confirmation yet about how many warplanes. But those strikes have been carried out. I'm told it is in response to the more than dozen strikes against U.S. bases. The message is a clear message designed to Iran and its proxy forces to stop carrying out these drone and rocket attacks against U.S. bases. But I'm told that the planes have safely left the area and that the airstrikes are complete at this time. They were targeting multiple locations inside Syria and Iranian proxy forces, Sean.
So there we go. All right, so that's so yeah, they're starting, oh shit, look at all that. World War III. I did not like that sound effect. All right. So let's read this article from NBC. So we heard Fox News. Now we'll read this article on NBC. U.S. strikes Iran-linked targets in Syria in retaliation for drone attacks on U.S. military base. It says. So, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said that the strikes were on two facilities in eastern Syria used by Iran's Islamic Revolution Guard Corps and affiliated groups. The U.S. launched strikes on Iran-linked targets in Syria on Thursday in retaliation for a series of drone attacks on American bases in the region, Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin said. Today, at President Biden's direction, Austin said, U.S. military forces conducted self-defense strikes on two facilities. In eastern Syria, used by Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, IRGC, and affiliated groups. These precision self-defense strikes are a response to a series of ongoing and mostly unsuccessful attacks against U.S. personnel in Iraq and Syria by Iranian-backed militia groups that began on October 17th. The U.S. military actions come amid rising tensions in the region over the conflict in Israel. Austin called the attacks separate and distinct from the ongoing conflicts between Israel and Hamas, and said they don't represent a shift in the U.S. approach to the conflict. From October 17th to Thursday, U.S. and coalition forces were attacked at least 19 separate times in Iran and Syria by a mix of drones and rockets, according to defense officials. On October 18th, at least two one-way attack drones targeted Al-Taif military base in South Syria, U.S. Central Command said. On the same day, there were two separate attacks against U.S. and coalition forces stationed at Al-Assad base in western Iraq. As a result of these attacks, one U.S. citizen contract died from cardiac incident while sheltered in place. 21 U.S. personnel suffered from minor injuries, Austin said. All those injured have since returned to duty. During a Wednesday news conference, Biden warned Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, that if Iran-linked forces continue to move against U.S. troops, we will respond, and he should be prepared. It has nothing to do with Israel. Senior U.S. military official said that two locations were a weapons storage area and ammunition storage, and that the U.S. used precise munitions drop by 2 F-16. Officials say that the U.S. did not coordinate with the Israelis about the strikes. So there you go. Okay. So they attacked us. We hit them back. It was retaliatory. It's basically the gist of it. Pretty sure. Trump. Fucking hell. Biden. He really did this just to try to show that elections coming out. He wants to show, oh, he's a decisive and a leader that would actually he's trying to portray himself as a capable, strong leader. We all know he's not. But yeah. So I mean, that's what he's based. He's trying to show, like, look at me. I'm a tough, strong leader. Check me out. I'm able to do what's necessary. It's basically he's trying to flex for the election, basically. That's what all those strikes were about. There really are nothing strikes because it killed like a facility that they probably warned they were gonna get bombed anyways. It was a nothing strike. Fucking hell, man! I'm so goddamn tired today. So when it comes to the gun control, Speaker Johnson talked about gun control. He said, at the end of the day, the problem is the human heart. It's not guns. It's not the weapons. I agree. Although now it looks like Speaker Johnson is talking about sending more money to Ukraine. I just saw that today. So, Speaker Johnson. President Biden has called on Congress to renew the assault weapons ban. Biden released the following statements. Enough. I urge Republican lawmakers in Congress to fulfill their duty to protect the American people. Work with us to pass common sense gun reform laws. Thoughts on this? Go fuck yourself, Biden. Joe. Go fuck yourself. Okay. Your quote unquote common sense gun control won't do anything to prevent any deaths whatsoever. Okay. It won't. Son of a bitch. Sorry about that. But yeah, none of Biden's like proposed gun control or even the 28th Amendment that Gavin Newsom is proposing would do anything to prevent any type of gun death whatsoever. And it's always after a mass shooting that they always push these things. And again, nothing they would have done would have prevented the shooting at all. It's just a way to try and while emotions are high, and people use their emotions to react, not their logic and reasoning. That so it's just a way to use the emotions to make a bad decision. The mass shooter in Maine was able to legally own a firearm for several years, and one day he snapped. He started hearing voices. Threatened to kill a police or a military base. Went to a mental facility for 2 weeks, and then got released. And not once did the government pursue mental adjudication, which is the legal way of removing someone's firearms. I don't think does Maine have red flag laws. Probably not. Okay, so Maine doesn't have red flag laws. Good. Um, but still, law enforcement or a prosecutor didn't like go for mental, adjudicating this guy Robert Card for mental adjudication. And prior to his sudden, as far as I know, prior to his mental instability, seems like a normal citizen. Until one day he just started hearing voices, started threatening to shoot up a military base, and then got committed. And then a couple months after being removed, after 2 weeks of being in a mental facility, and then 2 months from leaving there, he ends up doing this. And again, nothing that he proposed would have prevented this. Because if he completes treatment and is deemed fit enough to be released, then he should be deemed fit enough to have his firearms returned to him, right? So even if they were confiscated via a red flag law, he could still have gotten them back if he was completed the treatment or something, and at least shown that I'm completely fine now. And then you could just be patiently wait to get his guns, and then the second he gets the guns, he goes and shoots up people. All right. Now Kamala Harris shows how much of a moron she is, per usual. She wants to not only ban your guns, but confiscate them from law-abiding citizens, like Australia did, which is you kind of should be on ears break up when anytime guns in Australia come out of a politician's sentence. She should probably be on alert. Let's see what she had to say.
Gun violence has terrorized and traumatized so many of our communities in this country. And let us...
Again, she uses that term, gun violence. And you know what gun violence includes? Suicides, self-defense, accidents, which make up far more deaths than mass shootings do. But mass shootings just hit the news more often.
Let's be clear. It does not have to be this way, as our friends in Australia have demonstrated. Gun violence.
As our friends in Australia have demonstrated. What she doesn't say is the spike in crime rate after the removal of said firearms. Crime started suddenly getting bad. And then, it was a full-on confiscation. Like, it wasn't like a, hey, we would like you to take give these guns to us. No, it was, we're coming to your house, we're taking your guns. You don't have a choice in the matter. It's not going to work here. Okay. If you really want to start a very, hostile against you, you start trying to take people's guns away. That's what tyrants do. They always go for your guns. Second, they go for your guns and disarm their populace. They suddenly become far more tyrannical. I mean, look at Australia during COVID. They locked people down. They didn't allow any protest for the lockdowns. You couldn't really do anything. You didn't really have you couldn't really resist at all. Like, well, how are you going to risk? You're going to throw some boomerangs at fucking people? If you watched, the stuff going on in Australia during COVID, it was just pure tyranny over there. So that's what's going to happen if you allow the government to remove your guns from you. It's always the first step in tyranny. Benjamin Franklin said it best. If you give up freedom for security, you deserve neither and will get neither. Don't let these politicians, who, might I add, walk around with security bodyguards all the time while you are stuck at home and have to wait for a police to show up, if you're lucky, in 10 minutes. And you're fearing for your life, and you could be killed, robbed, raped while waiting those 10 minutes for the police to show up. These politicians that don't have to experience that level of fear want you to be disarmed. And let's be clear, if you do a disarmament, confiscation of firearms, it's only going to end up harming law-abiding citizens. Because the criminals, true criminals, aren't going to give up their guns to the goddamn government. They're going to keep it, and then they'll use their guns on your defenseless ass. So keep fighting against these assault weapons bans. They don't do shit. They don't protect anyone except make more victims. I'm flying through this, and I'm okay about it today. Today, I don't have the desire to drone on and on. So if I get done early today, I get done early today. It's fine. Okay, so Georgia's lieutenant governor wants to pay $10,000 a year to teachers to carry guns. Georgia's lieutenant governor said Wednesday he wants to pay teachers $10,000 a year to encourage them to carry guns in schools. Republican Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, speaking at Austin Road Elementary in Winder on Wednesday, said he wants the state to spend more money on school safety, including paying for teachers and non-officers to take firearm training, and pay teachers who hold a firearm training certificate an annual stipend. His plan also calls for stricter standards for already required school safety plans and boosting money that states give schools to hire school resource officers with police certification. Salary and benefits for such officers can cost $80K or more. We feel like this is the best way to prepare facilities, but also prepare law enforcement systems however we can, Jones said, saying that the state should be proactive to prevent shootings. Former President Donald Trump and others have called for arming teachers, saying gun-free zones, school zones, are target for armed assailants. Yes, that's absolutely true. There's been many cases where an armed gunman was going to one place. Turns out, they had security, even if it was unarmed, and decided, I'm just going to go to this place that doesn't have security. Happens all the time. But Lisa Morgan, the president of the Georgia Association of Educators, said her teacher group categorically opposed anyone besides certified officers carrying guns in schools. Why? She suggests Jones instead write legislation to hire more counselors. Cool. Counselors are fine until that one kid that, either didn't go to counseling or didn't find it help and decided, you know what, I'm going to go world star on their asses. Teachers should not be armed in the classroom. We are not there to serve as law enforcement, and introducing more firearms into the school is not a way to solve the problem of violence in our schools. I disagree. Okay. So having more firearms in school, I agree. It's not the way to solve the problem of violence in our schools. That's not what it's there for. It's there for to It's not to solve problems of violence in the schools. It's there to solve the problem of school shooters from going into schools and shooting. If let's say you're a student and you know, hey, a lot of my fucking teachers are armed. If I want to go and shoot up this school, more than likely chance these teachers that I don't know are armed are going to end up shooting my ass. Okay? Like, what the fuck? And again, you're not forcing any person that doesn't want to carry a gun to carry a gun. You're saying like, here, give you $10,000 annually to carry this thing, but you're not required to carry it. Critics also say that lots of practice will be needed to use a gun properly in an emergency, and that there's a history of even regular police officers accidentally shooting guns at school. Okay, so and how often does that happen is the question. They say there's just a history of it, but how often does it actually happen? I mean, history could be like, once every 2 years it happens. Barrow County Superintendent Chris McMichael said that although his district allows its security chief to carry a gun, the school board would have to carefully examine arming other employees. He supports increased funding for school resource office, saying that the districts have 15 to 16 officers and not enough to have one in each of its 20 schools. Barrow County Sheriff Judd Smith was more enthusiastic, saying armed teachers could be a force multiplier in cases of shooting. The Professional Association of Georgia Educators, the state's largest teachers group, called for school safety funding to be rolled into the state school funding formula, making it reliable from year to year instead of being doled out in one-time grants. Margaret Cicerielli, Page's top lobbyist, said that in a recent survey, 4,000 members ranked letting non-officers carry guns as last among preferred school safety measures. Top priorities were mental health interventions, more school resource officers, better safety plans. Look, safety plans are great and all, but guess what? The person that you're going to end up trying to, stop from killing you is going to be part of the safety plans because they're going to be generally more than likely a student there. Since 2014, Georgia has allowed local school boards to permit trained people who aren't police officers to carry guns to school, including teachers. It's unclear how many districts have done so, although at least 5 school districts allow some non-officers to carry guns. In Barrow and Cobb County, the policy only applies to security personnel without police certification, not teachers. Jones and his allies emphasized the program would be voluntary. Teachers wouldn't be required to participate, and teachers could carry guns only in districts where a school board voted to allow it. These are not mandates, said State Senator Max Burns, a Sylvanian Republican who said he sponsored legislation in 2024. It's not even 2024. These are local decisions by local school boards to tailor programs that fit the unique situation in your school systems. Georgia has 180 school districts and more than 2,300 public schools teaching 1.7 million students. State Department of Education figures shows Georgia schools have close to 2,000 school resource officers. 7 school districts and 15 in-person charter schools report no officers. Jones, who needs conservative credentials if he runs for governors in 2026 against other Republicans, said he wouldn't support restrictions on guns in any school safety packages. I'm not talking about that. We're talking about trying to protect the school systems right now. It's unclear if other top Republicans support Jones's proposed legislation. Yeah, so before I get into this, yeah, so he's trying to use the gun situation to work to his advantage to give him credits and for his run for governor. Shocking. Caleb McMitchin, a spokesperson for State House Speaker John Burns of Newington, said Burns hasn't seen the plan. Spokesperson for Governor Brian Kemp declined his comment. State Superintendent Richard Woods didn't immediately respond to requests seeking comments. Jones' program is modeled on a proposal in Texas that did not pass. It would have paid teachers an extra $25K a year if they took firearms mental health training and learned first aid. The proposal came after a 2022 shooting in which a gunman killed 19 fourth graders and 2 teachers in 2022 at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde, Texas. Instead, Texas man, yeah, that's the same Uvalde where officers were there and refused to go in and allowed a lot more people died than was necessary. Said Texas mandated that every campus should have a certified officer. Texas schools have struggled to meet that mandate, saying they lack the money and the police officers are in short supply. Like Georgia, Texas already allows teachers to carry guns, but has had few takers. So there we go. Look, out of all the proposals, this is something that would actually help. Nothing that a lot of the proposals would do anything, but this one would actually help. So that's good at least. Libs of TikTok. So Jamal Bowman has lied, shockingly. He said yesterday that, he accidentally pulled it after trying the door a bunch of times. It was an accident. He wasn't trying to do anything, even though after he pulled it, he didn't stop any resource officer say, hey, that was me. I messed up. And he was so confused. So here is more footage on the day of the incident. So you see him, walks up, removes the signs, and then pulls it. So those signs were warning signs. He didn't try the door. He just removed the signs and pulled the alarm and walked off. The same guy who just got as far as lies go. Oh, whoops. So let's rewind that. So these are warning signs here saying, hey, don't exit, or it's locked, whatever. There's warning signs here. Joel comes up, takes one sign, takes another, doesn't even fucking hit the thing, and then walks away. So he takes one sign, the second one drops, and then he pulls the fire alarm. That guy looks real confused and, definitely tried the doors before he walked off, right? 100%. So, shockingly, a congressperson lied and said, oh, I didn't mean to pull the alarm. It was a complete accident. Yeah, sure you did. All right. Now, as everyone knows, he was charged with a misdemeanor yesterday or whatever this week. He was charged with a misdemeanor of pulling a fire alarm. But he hasn't been censured yet, and he wasn't charged with disrupting proceedings because that's what he's clearly doing. I doubt this footage is going to change any of that because the footage was already out there. I'm sure the police already had it, and they're still not doing anything about it. But we'll see next week. All right. Asian Americans, residents of Brington Park, Chicago, are furious about illegal migrants coming to their neighborhood. 87% of this area voted for Biden in 2020.
Nobody told us. We have more than a few thousand people who signed a signature here who said no. We said no.
Tensions escalate on the southwest side as the city gets closer to housing at least 2,000 migrants at a base camp in Brighton Park. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Scott Schneider.
And I'm Dawn Hasbrook. That encampment is slated for a vacant lot at 38th in California, but a meeting tonight grew heated when residents divided on the plan. Casey Cronus is live from Kelly High School with the latest. Casey.
Hey, Don and Scott. Well, residents say they only found out about the plan when they saw construction crews working at the site. Tonight, they were calling for transparency, but it's something many of them feel they didn't get when the meeting reached capacity and they weren't allowed in. We could even hear the pounding on the doors from inside.
From
A line
inside.
down the block shows just how much residents wanted in on the conversation. But a full auditorium meant the crowd stuck outside never got a seat at the table.
So there you go. Asians are very, very mad. They're like, oh, we don't like the immigrants. Well, that kind of sucks, doesn't it? So there you go. Yeah, migrants are taking up, and obviously they did this without consulting anyone. I mean, not really surprised, honestly. I really don't have much commentary on it. It was just funny to see, to me. I know today's a very low energy one. I'm just getting through this, and fuck. I'm just barely making it. I'm literally looking forward to going and sleeping. All right, ACLU backs Trump in fight against DC judge's gag order. Look, if the ACLU is backing Donald Trump, that's a big red flag. And everyone, before I get going, I just want to give a shout out to Sam Zadek for following me here on my Rumble channel. Just got to follow. Appreciate you. Let's give you another round of applause. Really appreciate it, mate. Thanks for following me. And you too should follow me. Rumble.com/withghost. The American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, on Wednesday said it will file an amicus brief arguing that the limited gag order imposed on former President Donald Trump in his Washington, D.C. election interference case is unconstitutional. On the same day, federal prosecutors asked U.S. District Judge Tanya Chutkin U.S. District Judge. Sorry. To reinstate the currently paused gag order, saying the order is necessary to prevent Trump from targeting witnesses. Trump has a demonstrated history of using inflammatory language to target certain individuals in ways that poses a significant immediate risk. The witness will be intimidated, Special Counsel Jack Smith's team argued in court papers filed Wednesday. In the ACLU proposed brief, senior staff Brett Kaufman wrote that Trump has made statements that have been patently false and have caused great harm to countless individuals as well as to the republic itself. But Trump retains a First Amendment right to speak, and the rest of us retain a right to hear what he has to say. I agree with that 100%. Trump has used his social media platform, Truth Social, to launch a barrage of insults and criticisms at the prosecutors, judges, and witnesses involved in the cases against him. On October 17, Chutkin imposed a partial gag order on Trump, blocking him from making statements targeting Special Counsel Smith, his staff, witnesses, and court personnel. The judge said the former president is able to criticize the Justice Department in general terms and has the right to post his views that the case against him is politically motivated. However, she also said Trump cannot post attacks against prosecutors or court staff. Trump has appealed the order, asserting it violates his free speech rights, and Chutkin on Friday issued a stay pending his appeal. The former president has since returned to posting about the special counsel and witnesses. The ACLU argues Chutkin's order is too vague as it bans on targeting the special counsel, potential witnesses and the substance of their testimony, because it could be read such that Trump would violate the order by merely mentioning those people. The civil rights group has suggested the order is too broad because it covers Smith, a public official, and the substance of any witness testimony, which will be highly relevant to the 2024 presidential campaign. Trump has a commanding lead in polls of the 2024 presidential brief. Or presidential primary, sorry. All right. While the ACLU acknowledged that the First Amendment does not protect incitements to violence, threats, or other unlawful speech, the group says that the gag order placed on Trump is insufficiently justified because prosecutors have not shown a serious threat that his speech will threaten the administration of justice. No modern-day president did more damage to civil liberties and civil rights than President Trump. But if we allow his free speech rights to be abridged, we know that other unpopular voices, even ones we agree with, will also be silenced, said Anthony D. Romero, executive director of the ACLU. As much as we disagree with Donald Trump's policies, everyone is entitled to the same First Amendment protection against gag orders that are too broad and too vague. Trump's attorney, John Laro, said the ACLU brief makes very strong and compelling legal arguments for preserving Trump's First Amendment right. Many of these important legal points were also made by our team as well. On Wednesday, a special counsel team responded to Trump's motion to stay. There has never been a criminal case in which a court has granted a defendant an unfettered right to try his case in the media. Maligning the president judge as a fraud and a hack, attacked the prosecutor as a deranged and a thug. They wrote, pointing out that Trump has even stated that one witness actions warrant the punishment of death. Meanwhile, Trump was hit with a $10,000 fine on Wednesday for violating a separate gag order imposed by New York Judge Arthur Engoron in civil trial stemming from New York Attorney General Letitia James' lawsuit against him and the Trump Organization. Engoron. Look, if you want to learn more about this, I talked about it yesterday. There we are. So, you know what? Applause to the ACLU. All right. Good job, guys. You actually did something right. ACLU is generally garbage. They don't they don't really care about anyone. But I would say they got it right this time around. It's freedom of speech for all, not just for, people we like. So shout out to the ACL for doing something right for once. But yeah, that was good on the ACLU. Like, look, we don't even agree. We dislike Trump. We fucking hate Trump, but he has the right to speak freely. So it's good. It's good. Good on you. Good on you. All right, that's all I got today. I'm going to bed. I got nothing for you guys. My energy is so low. It's the end of the week. I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Again, shout out to Samzek. What is it? Sam's Deck for the follow. Appreciate you, mate. I hope you all have a good day. Peace out. See you later.